Imagine this. You've had a long week. You've earned this. You walk down the familiar aisle, you grab your favorite bag of chips, the one you've been eating since you were a kid, and you toss it in the cart. The bag feels exactly the same. Same shiny foil, same crinkle, same comforting weight. But later, when you're on the couch, ready to commit some mild dietary sins, you tear it open, and it's mostly air. You reach in, and you hit the bottom of the bag about 3 handfuls earlier than you remember. You sit there, looking at your hand, then looking at the bag, and you think, am I crazy? Have I just gotten bigger? Has my hand grown? No, that's ridiculous. Did I eat it faster? No. Welcome to SketchCents, where everyday money problems get broken down in plain terms, without the fluff. Today, we're talking about that exact moment on the couch. We are diving into the grocery store shrinkage secret. We're talking about why your favorite snacks are getting tiny, why your pantry staples are slowly evaporating, and why the packaging is lying to you. It's called shrinkflation. You've probably heard the term. But hearing the term and understanding the psychological warfare happening in aisle 4 are two very different things. Shrinkflation is not just companies giving you less. It's companies going to extraordinary, almost James Bond level lengths of engineering to make sure you don't notice they are giving you less. Let's talk about how this actually feels, because it's infuriating. It's not just about the money, it's about the gaslighting. It's the creeping suspicion that reality is slightly shifting. It's buying a box of cereal, pouring a bowl, and realizing the box is suddenly empty after 4 days instead of 6. It's opening a candy bar and realizing it's somehow thinner, like it's been on a juice cleanse. It's that subtle, maddening sense that you are paying the same amount or more for a phantom product. This isn't an accident. This is highly calculated. The food industry knows exactly what they are doing. They know that if they raise the price of your favorite cookies by 50 cents, you will notice. You will see that new price tag. Your eyes will widen, and you might think, 50 cents? For these? Absolutely not. I will buy the store brand. I will bake them myself. I will forage for berries before I pay that. Price increases trigger what economists call price sensitivity. It sets off alarm bells in your brain. You suddenly become a rational consumer, weighing the cost-benefit analysis of a chocolate chip cookie. And companies hate it when you become a rational consumer. But if they keep the price exactly the same and simply shave half an ounce off the total weight of the package, you won't notice, not at first. Because your brain doesn't memorize the net weight printed in tiny font on the bottom left corner of the box. Your brain memorizes the experience of the box. This is where the deception gets really interesting. They rely on something called tactile memory. We are creatures of habit. When you pick up a jar of peanut butter, your hand expects a certain width, a certain height, a certain heft. If the jar feels the same, your brain says, yep, that's the peanut butter, toss it in. So, how do they give you less peanut butter without changing the feel of the jar? Have you looked at the bottom of a peanut butter jar lately? Really looked at it. Next time you're in the kitchen, turn it over. It's not flat. It has a massive indent. It's concave. Sometimes that indent goes up an inch or more into the jar. They refer to this in the packaging industry as a punting. It's an old wine bottle trick, but now it's being used to steal your peanut butter. When you hold the jar from the sides, it feels completely normal. Your tactile memory is satisfied. It looks the same height on the shelf. The label is the same size, but there's a secret cavern hiding underneath, effectively hollowing out the middle of the jar. You are paying for a peanut butter cave. And it's not just jars. Let's talk about chocolate. Have you noticed that some chocolate bars, the ones that used to break off with a satisfying dense snap, now feel a little lighter? A little easier to bite through? Maybe you thought, oh, they've improved the recipe. It's airier. It melts in the mouth better. No, they literally pumped it full of air. It's called aerated chocolate. They whip bubbles into the chocolate during production. They will market this as a new, delightful texture. Experience the bubbly sensation. It sounds whimsical. It sounds fun. What it really means is that a significant percentage of that chocolate bar is now composed of nothing. They are selling you oxygen and charging you chocolate prices. They keep the wrapper the exact same size. The bar takes up the exact same footprint, but the density is gone. This is the genius and the cruelty of tactile camouflage. They preserve the physical dimensions you trust while hollowing out the contents. Let's look at another classic, the cereal box. Cereal companies are the undisputed champions of shrinkflation. Have you noticed how cereal boxes have become weirdly thin? From the front, they look massive. They have a massive, colorful billboard facing you in the aisle. Toucan Sam looks as big as ever. But if you turn the box to the side, it's practically two-dimensional. It's like a cardboard envelope. You could slide it under a door. They know you shop facing the shelves. You look at the front of the box. As long as the height and the width stay the same, your brain registers it as the normal size. They just squeeze the depth until you're essentially buying a poster board filled with cornflakes. And the plastic bags inside those boxes, they are puffier than ever. They fill them with nitrogen. Now, they will tell you this is to protect the product from settling and to keep it fresh. And sure, there is some truth to that. You don't want cereal dust. But let's be honest, it's also an incredibly convenient way to make a bag containing 30% less cereal look plump and full when you open the box. The bag feels tight. It feels substantial until you open it, and the sigh of escaping nitrogen is quickly followed by your own sigh of disappointment as you look down at a small sad pile of loops at the bottom. Why is this happening right now at such a rapid pace? It's a perfect storm of economics. The cost of raw materials has gone up. The cost of wheat, sugar, cocoa, transportation, packaging, labor. It's all more expensive for the manufacturers. They have a choice. They can eat the cost, which hurts their profit margins and makes their shareholders very unhappy. They can raise the price, which, as we discussed, makes you, the consumer, very unhappy and likely to buy something else. Or they can use the third option, shrinkflation. It's the path of least resistance. It protects their margins without triggering a price-conscious revolt. It's a silent, invisible tax on your groceries, and they get away with it because it's exhausting to keep track. You go to the grocery store to buy food, not to conduct a forensic audit of net waste. You are tired. The kids are whining. You just want to get the toilet paper and go home. Speaking of toilet paper, don't even get me started. Have you noticed the cardboard tubes in the middle of the rolls getting wider? Have you noticed the sheets getting slightly narrower? Have you noticed the mega rolls getting less mega? They play games with the math. 4 mega rolls equals 16 regular rolls. What is a regular roll anymore? Has anyone seen a regular roll since 1998? It's completely made up math designed to obscure the fact that there are fewer sheets per roll than there were 5 years ago. It's happening across the board. Dish soap bottles are shrinking. Shampoo bottles have sleeker, thinner designs. The number of garbage bags in a box drops from 50 to 45. The block of cheese goes from 16 ounces to 14 ounces. But the plastic wrapper stays exactly the same size. It's a relentless, slow-motion erosion of your purchasing power, and it relies entirely on your distraction. So, how do we handle this? What is the practical reframe here? Because we still have to eat. We still have to buy groceries. We can't just stand in the aisle shaking our fists at the concave peanut butter jars. The first step is shifting your attention. You have to stop looking at the size of the package. The package is a marketing tool. The package is a liar. You have to train your eye to look at one thing and one thing only, the unit price. This is the tiny number on the shelf tag, usually printed in an orange or yellow box, that tells you the cost per ounce, per pound, or per 100 sheets. This is the only truth in the grocery store. The unit price strips away the marketing. It ignores the aerated chocolate and the puffy cereal bags and the concave jars. It tells you exactly how much you are paying for the actual substance you are consuming. When you start shopping by unit price, the entire store looks different. You realize that the family size box isn't always a better deal than 2 regular size boxes. You realize that the store brand isn't just slightly cheaper, it's vastly cheaper by the ounce. It takes a little extra mental effort. It forces you to pause and compare those tiny numbers, but it is the only way to combat the psychological warfare of tactile camouflage. The second thing to notice is the subtle redesigns. When a product suddenly gets new look packaging or a sleeker design or claims to be more eco-friendly with less plastic, be immediately suspicious. Often, a sleeker design is just a thinner bottle that holds less product. Less plastic often means a smaller container overall, which conveniently holds less soup. They frame the shrinkage as a benefit to you or the environment, masking the fact that you are simply getting less for your money. When you see a redesign, check the net weight. If you have an old bottle at home, compare it. You'll often find that the new look was just a cover story for a quiet downsizing. Finally, we need to adjust our expectations and our habits. We are used to a certain portion size based on visual cues. If you've always eaten a whole chocolate bar and the bar shrinks, you might still eat the whole bar and just feel slightly less satisfied, or you might find yourself reaching for a second snack sooner. We have to recognize that the portions we are used to are being quietly altered. This means we might need to change how we buy and how we consume. Maybe it means buying in bulk more often, where the unit price is undeniably lower and the packaging games are slightly less prevalent. Maybe it means shifting away from heavily processed, heavily packaged snacks, which are the prime targets for shrinkflation, and moving toward whole foods, where an apple is still just an apple, and a pound of carrots is still a pound of carrots. At the end of the day, shrinkflation is a symptom of a larger economic reality. Companies are trying to protect their profits, and they are betting that you won't notice, or that you'll be too tired to care. They are relying on your tactile memory. They are relying on your habit of grabbing the same box every week. They are relying on the fact that you trust the physical dimensions of the products you buy. Your job is to break that trust. Your job is to stop trusting the package and start trusting the unit price. It's annoying. It requires vigilance in an environment where you just want to relax and buy some chips. But understanding the game is the only way to stop losing it. The next time you pick up a jar, flip it over. Look at the concave bottom. Acknowledge the trick. And then look at the unit price. Don't let them sell you air. Don't let them charge you for the cave under the peanut butter. If this episode hit a little too close to home, that's the point. Most financial mistakes don't feel like mistakes while they're happening. They feel normal, routine, even justified. That's how they quietly chip away at your wealth. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next breakdown, because each episode pulls apart another one of those normal habits that secretly cost you money. Drop a comment with the financial situation that's been bothering you, the thing that doesn't quite add up, the bill that keeps showing up, the decision you're second guessing. That's what gets decoded next. I'm Elias Thorne, and you've been watching SketchCents, where we don't just talk about money, we expose exactly where it's slipping through your hands. Catch you next time.